All right, welcome on back. We were getting on some things. Yeah, okay, so maybe I shared a little too much there, overshared, but in that last episode. But that's okay. That's life, and needless to say, I love and hate all people equally now. Like that was a fluke, but it was a very real like concern that my friends and I had growing up, and that's just kind of like a thing. So once you get past that, it's better. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're gonna have to go back and watch the end of that last episode. Anyways, back to global voting. That was what I was originally intending to talk about this morning. Um, so, if everybody had an email account, they could vote, and we could trace every single vote and make sure nobody's voting twice. Like each email account has one vote tied to them on any subject, any presidential candidate, any politician, anything, and they just get the one vote. And then they cast their vote with their email. The email servers receive the votes, and then you can use automated tools and this would be really fun to build, like a lot of this stuff. So I need to understand that a little more. So what I'm going to do is build just a mock-up email server and see if I can do that. And like just with my internet service provider, I believe I get an email address or something. I don't know, but I mean, I feel like I could just build something like that. In fact, I know somebody who built a lightweight email server just because internet was such a problem. It was on a ship, so like they needed to have very low bandwidth and only text messages like going through, no pictures, no videos, like just low bandwidth type things on this mail server. So I know it can be done, and already beside that, like I know it can be done by an average person like myself. So granted, I do have education and training and work experience in building software and tools and stuff. So, I mean, not a lot, but some, more than the average person, more than a non-technical person. But see, the thing is all you need to do is make it to where you can instantly audit, and then only the only people that have access to all these emails, because that could be a huge security breach. Except not, because emails are so flimsy anymore. Like, you're going to get spam all over, and we're hunting down the spammers. We're keeping track of their IP addresses. We're just handing it off to local governments to punish them in their own way. Because it is. Spamming, phishing, all that is illegal. You can't get information in a malicious way like that. It's against the law. It's done in bad faith. You're not dealing in good faith. You're trying to rip someone off. You're trying to take a shortcut against someone that you don't even know. And I have fun with scammers too sometimes. Like this one time, I almost fell for the lottery winner thing, and I was like, what if? Like, if I was a lottery winner, wouldn't I just hang out all day and just go around and do that? And that's why I need to get into Twitch because like people really do that in Twitch. They'll pop by and they'll just drop like $50, $100, maybe $1,000, like because that actually helps their channels too. Like if they save up enough money and they go and they just dump a bunch of bits or money or dollars or whatever to cheer people, or they do a bunch of subscriptions, then boom, like you get a lot of money. So, but it is a lot of work, and I don't think I'd ever be able to have a job doing that. But it'd be fun to do, fun to see how it works. And I like hanging out, watching other people stream, because it's just a cool thing to have on in the background. And then it helps them out. They feel seen and heard. They feel like they're doing something creative and constructive. Or like I saw this one guy, he ate some mushrooms and he was just doing some drawing. And like I think we need more of that where people can see that like mushrooms and cannabis are pretty harmless. Like they are just like, I mean, it's not something you do lightly. It's definitely a medicine, but at the same time, like the way we've been so afraid of it and punishing people, like putting people in prison for this stuff, it's like, really? Really? I mean, that's because it causes people to pause and think and then see new perspectives and like all that stuff. And Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, or one of the richest people in the world, the richest human, there we go, He-Man, um, smoked weed on Joe Rogan's show. Like, okay, there's your idea that like, and it wasn't his first time. I mean, it's like right there. You can be the wealthiest person in existence, and cannabis does not ruin your life. If you have money, cannabis is not going to make you end up homeless in a homeless shelter and like, destitute. If anything, alcohol does that. But alcohol also isn't dangerous if you have a lot of money. So, wait, how did that work? Oh, well, either way, that's going to have to go around. I guess I made a tunnel. That's fine. I do need stairs. I like them to be uniform too. So I think I might dig all these up and just go back to I was like, did he just open the door? They're not supposed to be able to open gates. That's why I do that. I don't want them in here because then the farmers will come over here and mess with my crops. Also, yeah, I'm trying to build, trying to learn redstone doors. So there is a way, and I think I messed it up because I put in the other side. So now they over. But anyways, my son figured it out. Let's actually go look at that real quick before we do any more. Like, he watched a video and he was able to do it. And I know I could just watch a video and do it, but I want to do it on my own. Like, I mean, I've seen videos, and so it's kind of like from memory. Mr. Potato Man. Yeah, see? He's got one. And it's, and it's interesting because it looks like, see? It's random which way it goes. Like one time the top one gets it on the right, and then the left one gets both of them. Oh, see? So, and then this is one I'm starting to build. That's where they should be apart to have a two wide thing, and then as you want run on it, it'll open. But whatever. I'm really proud of him for building that. Like that's really cool. He's learning. He's also a fraction of my age, so like it's very exciting. Oh yeah, we were just looking at the door. Really, I need to do better with all this. Like, it's just a bunch of rock. Like, I feel like this should be all grass and stuff and all nice. But we can fix that eventually. So, online voting. I know I keep talking about that. I keep wandering away from it. So, an email address, and that's literally all it is. Just an email address, a web server, and a database. And you replicate it for every county. Every county is responsible for seeing, okay, we have this many people registered to vote in this county, and we have this many email addresses. Here's all the email addresses. And admins can see that. System admins like can see everything and they don't care. I'm a system admin. I see medical information, security information, all this stuff. I don't care. In fact, and my stuff is heavily audited. Everything I do, everything I touch, everything I open is recorded. And that's good. That needs to be. I used to work for an aerospace company that had military secrets like missiles and planes and all this stuff. And guess what? Everything I touched was logged. Like, oh, you know, Alex is opening this file. He's not allowed to open that file. He goes to prison. That's basically what the deal was. And so, and I was okay with that. I could care less about all that. I mean, I was a little worried, be like, oof, the things that my company makes might kill people one day. That's not really a great thing to think about. But I mean, and even before that, I was a software developer for a company that exclusively worked with alcohol. Like it was beverage warehouses and stuff, and it was just a really ugly industry to be a part of. And I was drinking way too much. My life wasn't all that great at the time. I mean, I finally had money, like a little too late. Like I struggled for so long that I was like, and then I finally was like working hard doing this. And everybody works hard too. Sorry, I kind of misspoke there. It's like, you know, whether you work at a fast food restaurant or that's just the easiest example because that's what most people do. I worked at a Subway for 5 years, you know, making nothing. I barely had enough money for gas and then like to party on the weekends, and that's it. Like, and it was supplemental. My parents paid my rent, like, and I was fortunate enough to have that. But if I didn't have that, or student loans too, that's the other thing. Like, student loans will pay your rent and stuff at a high interest rate, and they'll give you the money that you need to be able to focus on your education, but not much else. And then, you know, so. Let's see. So yeah, everybody works. So what we need to do, what the smart people of the world need to do is reduce the cost of everything else. And that's why I'm starting this idea. We could go ahead and talk about it. It's a hippie farm. It's going to grow cannabis, mushrooms, food. Food is the main thing, using aquaponics. Now, in fact, I might even start just putting that link in my videos. I don't know. See, I'm a little hesitant because there's people that watch this stuff that I don't want knowing that I'm involved in anything like that because, well, one, they'd be disappointed. They'd be like, oh no, he's working with hippies or whatever. And like, you know, peace, love, and prosperity for everyone. Like, it's such a hippie thing. But if you think about it, well, I mean, specifically, my concern is people coming from prison because, yes, they made a mistake, or even if they didn't, because there's people that are wrongfully imprisoned, and that's just a horrible situation. And that doesn't happen to rich people. Rich people have enough money to where they can get a lawyer that sometimes they can even get out of it, even if they did it. Like, I mean, look at Trump, 34 felonies You know, that's made some people's heads spin. You get one felony, you're going to prison. Like, or you at least go to jail until you get it all figured out. You're innocent until proven guilty, but you're in jail until you can bail out. So you are guilty at that point. You are put in a detention facility and, you know, have to eat crappy food, hang out with other people that are in a really bad point in their life, probably coming down off of drugs or alcohol, you know, trying to get that happiness and live the American dream. And then they're like, oh, I'm in a cage. Like, you know, and then there's fights and it's dangerous. And even if there aren't fights, like, you have to be there and be like, is someone gonna stab me? Is somebody gonna hit me? Like, ugh. And mostly it's just boring. It feels like you're waiting for a bus that never comes. You're just sitting and waiting and watching crappy TV, eating crappy food, talking to people about your war stories of like, oh, I did this many drugs and I did this many things and they're listening too. That's the other bad thing is so once they get you in jail, they've got it all recorded of what you say with your cellie, and then you can confess to all sorts of other crimes. And then even if you didn't do what they have you in there for, they've entrapped you because it's human nature to talk to people. And then they, you know, it's almost inevitable that they'll start bragging like, oh, I'm this bad, partly because they're insecure about, is this guy going to stab me or beat me up? Like, I need to make him a little afraid of me, you know, otherwise I could be in danger. Like that Ralph meme, like, I'm in danger, like chuckling. But anyways, and that's very true. And rich people, they don't have to worry about that. They might be in jail for like a day, if that. I mean, Hunter Biden even too. Like, I mean, I like President Biden. I voted for him, but at the same time, his son should be in prison for 5 years, and all of his stuff should be taken. That's just a fact because I've seen a video of President Biden back when he was Senator Biden, and he was walking around bragging like he held up a quarter. He's like, this amount of crack cocaine will get you 5 years in prison, and all of your stuff will take it. The government will take it. And just right there, it's like, wait a minute. This person, curious, experimenting with a substance, like seeing what it's about, finds out they like it, ends up doing it, and a quarter size, that's not much. I mean, I'm sorry, like, and especially for people doing that, they'll go through like 50 of those in a week. I mean, that's not realistic, you know, depending on if they have the money. And that's when the Diddy stuff comes in, where they might link up with some ladies or something and get them addicted. And then the ladies will go out and sell themselves for money. And then they'll get more of the crack and all of that. And it's a vicious cycle. And things that most people, well, not most people, but like the wealthier people, like middle and higher middle class, will probably never ever encounter. Because guess what? They can go to an amusement park. They can go see a movie when it first comes out in a movie theater. They don't have to care about the money that they're spending on the movie snacks. Like, and that's like a week's paycheck to someone working minimum wage just to go see a movie. Like your whole week, you worked and you did all that, and you know, and God forbid that you have to pay rent or a car insurance or a car payment, you know, and then you'll get your car repoed. That's the other fun thing. So like, yeah, so many things that people that just don't even have to think about it be like, wait, why do they have to worry about, you know, this, and this? Why don't they just go borrow money from their parents? What if their parents don't have money or struggling? You know, it's like, anyways. And a lot of that, it all comes down to alcohol. Alcohol and casinos and things like that. Like, that's how a lot of people, they basically get duped. Oh, wait, I need another, oh, I guess I can just go back to the main house. So again, online voting, if you had everybody, but the thing is you need to ensure that everybody is capable of understanding and voting correctly. Like not correctly in the, wait, what? Oh, crud. I can't make stairs out of this. Well, actually, you know what? We're just gonna make, oops. Because it has silk touch, I just mined a bunch of deep slate. Let's see it. Can I at least make, I can. Okay, cool. Oh, I guess I can use diorite for that. Or granite. That's okay. So basically, that's the downside to using a silk touch, is because it should be deep slate cobblestone. Um, this cobbled deep slate. Okay, so one of these I can make into stairs, and then the rest I need to mine with. Oh, and then I need sticks Make another pickaxe. I mean, it's a little too late now, but like, and I also need to, well, either way. This is going to hurt because I'm going to fall down. Actually, how bad can I fall down? So, anyways, because even people with a lot of money, they don't really know a good way to live and do things. Like their reality is unrealistic for the average person, so their idea of problem solving isn't going to be relevant. Now, and I was talking earlier in the last episode about how there are some Republican truths that we need to address. Like businesses need to be able to function. I do agree with some of the stuff that Elon's saying is like the regulations and the taxes and the tariffs, like they are constricting so a business can't function as they want, and they need to be able to pay their workers better. And that is part of why workers don't make a lot of money is because of government regulations and strangleholds that way. I agree with that. That's not, complete fairy tale or anything. And we can't just go around and take money from people that have earned it or inherited it or whatever. Like, not all the way. Now, I say that, but still, an inheritance tax and certain things, like, there still should be. Unless you can prove that you have given a certain amount of your money away willingly. Because as long as the ends justify the means, as long as it gets to where it needs to go, and everybody pours one out for the homies that aren't there anymore. Everyone, you know, takes a little bit and then gives it to people in need. Yeah. So, and it can be done in many ways too, like teaching, like helping people, coaching, like donating your time to making sure somebody else's life is just a little bit better because of it. And that's the stuff that I want to try to do. That's why I started making computer science education videos and, stuff like that. I was actually just watching my videos, and I like them. I need to do more. I only have six, and then like four actual episodes of where I swear I have like a whole. There we go. Let's get 4 stacks. Let's actually put all this stuff up here. It'll be confusing later. Wait, that's cobbled. That's not. Deep slate, deep slate, deep slate. Okay, I got the 4 stacks of cobbled. So, and we have that. I mean, people doing sports, and I think like that's an important thing. And I'm briefly starting to coach. Like I'm starting to do a summer camp, which is really fun. It's just like a 1 day thing, but like, I want to get more into that, more involved. I mean, but this online voting thing, like if I do one thing with my life, I mean, it's going to get global voting. Like I don't have to build it. I don't have to, but I'm just spreading it around. And that's what I wanted to jump on this morning and do. And I completely haven't talked about it at all. So I'm commenting on the Pope's X app and having discussions with people. It's just little so far, but I'm going to continue to keep pushing on. And I'm going to basically spread the New World Order with global voting. Everybody gets an email account. Everybody has to protect it with multi-factor with a phone, which is kind of scary because of all those phones that just blew up, killing a bunch of those, was it Hezbollah, that group? But I don't know. And if we do more of these hippie farms where people just grow a bunch of food for the sake of growing food, and make it to where people that need it, it's just take what you need, leave what you can. In fact, let's actually go look at this real quick. I even put that sign in here to kind of put that idea in my kids' heads. Like, take what you need, leave what you can. And let other people use it. Like we should have communal cars, we should have communal houses, we should have communal everything. Like, the idea of ownership and property and this and that. It's okay back in the days, but yeah, see, take what you need, add what you can. There you go. And there's a turtle, an emerald turtle. But, sometimes it's a bunch of emeralds, sometimes it's not. And like right now I need to repair this. So I might take a bunch of those emeralds and go do some trading with the villagers so I can repair that. And then in that trading with the villagers, chances are you'll get a lot more emeralds, so then you can leave some. And that's what it is. Take a penny, leave a penny. We have them at gas stations just because people if you're just a few cents short and someone doesn't mind leaving their change, then boom, you just helped out somebody that just was a few cents short on their purchase, wanted to get like some snacks or something or some chips, and they just needed a few pennies. And then the other thing with the hippie farm is mushrooms actually help fix addiction to opiates, like meth, stimulants, all that, um, crack, all the things we were talking about. Like it actually helps to heal addiction. And same with alcohol and tobacco. I know people that have quit drinking. I know people that have quit smoking cigarettes because of magic mushrooms. Like, it's an amazing thing. And cigarettes, like right there, if you smoke cigarettes, I used to smoke cigarettes. I quit. Um, that's easily, now it's about like $10 a pack. That's what it's getting to. It used to be like $3 or $4 maybe for like 20 cigarettes. And then that would last you a day, maybe 2 days if you're a heavy smoker, or maybe a week if you're just like a light smoker. But still, that's an extra whatever. And now it's $10 almost a pack because there's so many taxes of people trying to fix it, trying to quit people from smoking, but they don't realize that you can't just make them pay more. Like that's not a good way to deter them. Like that just makes them poorer, and it's going to make them struggle more because they can't just be like, all right, buddy, we can't smoke cigarettes anymore. Oh, it's just too expensive. That's the same logic with making the death penalty for nonviolent drug dealing crimes. Like the lady that Trump pardoned, she would be executed. Like her level of crime would be executed under his new plan to deal with drug dealers, because he's like, oh, the fentanyl, like we need to do that. People are dying. Like, okay, well, the original problem with that was the Sackler family and OxyContin. That was said to not be addictive, which was a lie. It's very addictive. It's like one of the most addictive things out there. It's like straight heroin in a pill. And people are finding that out. It's like, oh gosh, we were kind of wrong about this. They're not getting punished at all. They got millions of dollars. So again, global voting, we probably have them executed. Now, I don't believe in death. I don't believe in execution. But if anyone deserved it or deserved to be in life in prison, it's the people, everyone involved in that, that knowingly allowed for OxyContin to be such a mainstream painkiller. All the doctors that prescribed it knowing full well that their patients might be addicted and might end up getting hooked on heroin, and like, because eventually you don't get any more refills of your OxyContin. So like, but wait, your body still needs that opiate. So then they go to street drugs, and a lot of the street drugs, for whatever reason, people are lazy, people want to make it sell faster, so they add fentanyl to it. I mean, there's all sorts of reasons, or they just want to see the world burn and see people die. That's one of the more nefarious things. So then they're actually intentionally poisoning people with this drug, and they're the ones that are getting punished, like the street level drug dealers and all that. Tim Allen would be murdered if Trump was president and had those tough laws. And it's funny, every time I see Tim Allen speak out for Trump or support Trump, I mean, not every time, but I've started doing it. I'm like, oh, that's funny because you'd be dead. And then I post a video where Trump admits that the lady that he just pardoned for drug dealing, which for those who don't know, Tim Allen was caught trafficking cocaine back in the day, a major amount. Like he was in prison, he rolled on somebody, like he totally screwed up, and he screwed someone's life up. But then he became a famous actor and he became wealthy. So then people forgot. But if Trump was president at that time, he'd be dead. You wouldn't have Santa Claus. You wouldn't have Tim the Toolman Taylor. He would just be a dead coke dealer. Done. And that's what rich people problems, and they don't understand that. And I don't see Tim Allen being like, wait, we need to end the war on drugs, like, because it affected my life and the people around me so bad. You know, yeah, it's messed up. So anyways, the hippie farm. These people making mistakes, and they all know it because they got nothing to do all day but sit there and talk with each other and plan and scheme and figure things out. And like, how are things going to be different? Like, whether legally or illegally, what they're going to do when they get out. Like, and then they network and they grow these strong bonds with people and they make these drug empires. And like, and then we get shocked when people come out like more dangerous and more rowdy than when they went in. And it's like, wait, this was supposed to correct them. What happened? It's like, well, you put them in a box for, years of their life and expect them to grow and prosper and be good. And thankfully there are programs too. Like there's people training in like Cisco engineering stuff, network engineer stuff. Like they have classes, they have education programs. And there are stuff, but you got to be motivated. And it's really hard to be motivated when at the end of the day, no matter what you do, you're going to eat the same slop and go sleep on the same rock hard bed with a tiny little like hint of a pillow. Like that's going to be flat before you know it. Your back's going to start having problems. You're miserable. You're not comfortable. And even in a halfway house, see, that's more what I know about. And like they have metal bunk beds that are just horrible. They're very similar to what you have in the military, but the military has soft pads that you can sleep on. halfway houses? No. They use discount pads, the cheap ones and the thin ones that by the time you wake up, oh, crud. I just realized these are all garbage stones. Like, I can't make anything out of them. Yeah, I need to switch this before I do any more. Silk touch. I mean, I get it. It's a novel thing to have a silk touch pickaxe, but... And actually, where are we at? Okay, we're almost... So, but anyways, yeah. Online voting, that's all it's going to take. Once we get online voting, the whole world will be able to speak their mind, like cast their vote, and be heard. And then the world will know what the world wants. And then you'll see all wars cease, all greed cease. Everything in the Bible will pretty much just be true. Like, that's how you make the kingdom of God or whatever, according to the Bible. Now, the Quran also has one of the pillars of Islam is to give back a certain percentage of your wealth to the people that need it, you know, and you're basically borrowing it and lending it out, like, because everything is temporary anyway. Like, when you die, I mean, at least that's what I think. You don't keep anything. You don't take it with you. It rots with you, like how the Egyptians used to bury up all their stuff because they're like, oh, we want this, you know. And let's see, actually, let's repair this. But every email address, every person, and then that's linked to a government ID. So all the people that are worried about people that are voting in these elections that aren't American citizens, that's eliminated. Only living registered voters that have an email address can vote. That's it. And everybody can have an email address. And I think that's what the other thing we might need to do is Google's great, but for the people that don't like Google, that want a different email or don't trust it for whatever reason, we need to have options. So we need to have another company, you know, be able to provide email addresses. And at the end of the day, it's very simple to protect email addresses. All you got to do is have people that can pay attention to the headers or even just make automated tools to track where every vote comes from. That way, if people vote, and you could even have data cafes, like, you know, I don't know. It's just, it doesn't have to be as complex as we're making it. And then what we're doing, and the reason there's so much potential for fraud, is you don't actually sign your actual vote. It's anonymous. Like, your vote, your paper ballot, is just one piece of paper that you filled out the bubbles on, and that's your vote. And then, you know, and so somebody could fill out a lot of papers and then turn them in. And I get that. There is a lot of room for fraud. But if you have one email address and one vote, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Nobody's going to come to your house and murder you because you voted Republican or Democrat. Nobody. If anything, I have a lot of Republican friends that know I vote Democrat, and they give me a hard time. They tease about it, but it's like, that's about it. I'm not going to go get lynched. I'm not going to go get attacked. I'm not going to, I mean, these things that used to be a factor, like with the KKK and stuff, that would kill you for your choices or your life or even just the color of your skin, like, that used to be a thing, but no more. Now, anybody that kills anybody, guess what, is being hunted by all those government agencies that do the cybersecurity, that track what you're doing, who you're talking to, what you're talking about. And as scary as that is, that keeps it to where if you kill somebody, you're gone. You're done. You're in prison. So, I mean, you almost can't get away with it anymore. And it's such a good thing. It's such a relief. And even if you can, it's so almost impossibly hard that everybody knows that, to where that's your deterrent. Not the bigger stick, like the let's murder drug dealers. Like, let's just make it to where, well, first off, for the war on drugs, let's make it to where drug dealing isn't even a required thing. It's not even a business. There is no black market. You can just get all the stuff you want. If you're a consenting adult, you can choose what you want. I mean, and that's just it's an uncomfortable topic for a lot of people because they're worried, like, oh, my kids are going to get hooked on drugs. And, well, the real thing that makes their life ruined is if they get caught with those drugs and then they get put in jail and then they have to be put on probation. And then during probation, they're going to find out all this other stuff that you're doing that maybe they don't like. And then you're going to get in even more trouble. And then you're going to be expected to jump out, be as happy as can be, go work and smile every day and go, you know, be just content with nothing. So, yeah, people are going to take shortcuts. They might steal. They might go sell drugs. They might, you know, do whatever, like, to make a quick buck. And then oftentimes they'll get caught for doing that whatever. And then they're even further in Dutch with the government. And so it's just a vicious cycle. And the people that it happens to, they see it right away. They see it exactly for what it is. It is a money-making machine. Like, I know people got caught for drug dealing, $3,000, no questions asked. You're a drug dealer? $3,000. That's what you pay to this county. And doesn't matter if you've never seen that much money in your life, you're paying it. You're paying it over time. Same with child support too. That's one of the biggest things. Like, they're so quick to punish the one or the other, mostly the dad, but sometimes the mom too. And like they don't, thankfully we're fixing that too. We have WIC, which it's free food. It's a program to get free food to make sure the baby is healthy, the kids are healthy. We have food programs in schools now. Colorado is one of the 8 states that has free food, no questions asked. I mean, breakfast, lunch, snacks, all of it is provided. And then people are like, oh, who's going to pay for that? Well, you don't have kids, do you? I mean, like if you did and you're a parent running around and like, say you even just forget to pack your kid's lunch. I actually forgot my son's lunch yesterday. I had to drive down there and drop it off. But yeah, no, and it's like the kids should not suffer because of accidents or malicious. It's almost never malicious either. It's no parents out there like, meh, I'm not going to feed my kid today. It's like, oh, crud. Like either I forgot to pack something or we don't have any. I forgot to go to the store or we can't afford to go to the store until payday. So like, even any of those situations covered. Like those kids will have food to eat. And that's beautiful. We need to keep that up. And those are the things that wealthy people need to be taxed for because they don't understand that. They don't understand, I mean, maybe they were poor once. Like I was watching this video about this guy driving like a Maserati or whatever. This guy was interviewing him, like totally glorifying him and all this. Like, and he's like, "Have you ever been broke?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I was broke, but then I learned how to never be that way again." And it's because somebody dipped so low like that, they understood. And that's everybody from prison. They're all extra motivated to never be there again and to be in that situation where they're locked in a cage. They don't have money. They don't have food. I mean, they have food, but it's garbage. And they don't have fun, happiness, relationships, emotions, like relations with other people outside. Like, no, none of that. You're just there for years. I remember one guy he did 12 years in lineman for accidentally killing his cousin. Accidentally. It was a fist fight that went too far. And he did 12 years of his life in a prison. And he would pray. He told me he'd be down on his knees, just like, just kill me now. I'm done. I don't like life anymore. And it's just like, that's what we do to people. Like, yeah, he killed somebody. It was very wrong. But, like, they were both kind of wrong in that moment. And alcohol was involved. So, again, if we had weed to replace alcohol, public smoke shops, smoke lounges, book lounges, bakeries, whatever, where people could smoke cannabis in public and enjoy it and talk to each other and hang out, be social, or play video games or whatever, like most college people do. Like, and then the people that don't go to college, like, they might not know all that whole life. And it doesn't mean one rip of difference. Like, you can be very intelligent and use cannabis. Now, you gotta wait until you're an adult because your brain developing and all that stuff. So there's still some concern, but it's not, oh, hey, this person, I found some of this plant on him. Let's go put him in jail and let's charge him hundreds of dollars and make him get a lawyer and scare him and stress him and all that over something that just made him giggle for a few hours and probably fall asleep. Not go crash into people driving drunk. Like, it's just a little giggle weed that, doesn't really harm anyone. I mean, maybe the tar for your lungs isn't great, but go run it off. Anyways, that's my time. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day, everybody. I'm going to go do some adulting things and parenting things. So, all right, ta-ta. I'll see you in the next one.